January 2nd and the gun ban registry deadline being yesterday, we have yet to get the latest numbers from the state police on how many people have registered, but the numbers they updated last week was about 15,100 of the 2.4 million FOID card holders have registered firearms. Somebody who says they're not complying is former state senator Darren Bailey. He also is a former Republican candidate for governor and also a candidate for U.S. Congress. Darren, thanks for taking time with us today. You posted a video on social media yesterday, and it sends a pretty clear message. What was that message you sent?
Hey, good morning, Greg, and it's nice to be back with you. Thank you very much. One of the things that really frustrates me that I guess I've witnessed in 4 years in Springfield and now my desire to go to D.C. to have this voice for the people. I don't see elected officials standing up for the people. This issue of our Second Amendment rights. I mean, we are guaranteed these inalienable rights in our Constitution. That doesn't mean we can't look at every law and decide what we're going to follow or what we're going to do. But our founding fathers' original intent, they guaranteed, they assured, they understood what inalienable rights are. And those are rights that are given to we, the people, individuals, by God. And actually, it is up to the government to protect those rights. So this situation with any form of infringement on our Second Amendment rights, I'm going to stand up for the people, do what I believe that is right, and then the people will have to determine, what they think of that. It's also important to realize and understand that, this registry, it's not closed yet. It doesn't mean that, if you didn't by this date, you shut the door. And so for people out there that are, concerned and, there's still an opportunity for you to do that. I've heard of a lot of people who've lost their firearms recently in boating accidents, sunk to the bottom of rivers and streams and lakes. And actually, there's even businesses that have been created all along our borders for people to go and for Illinois residents to go and store their firearms outside of the state borders. And obviously, we know that many people here in Illinois, are considering moving away, and several people own a secondary home or property outside of Illinois. And I've heard of people transferring their firearms, to those properties outside the state. But as for me, someone's got to stand. It seems like the one thing most politicians, instead of standing for the people and saying the right thing, are obviously worried about protecting their political careers. And, this is an issue that we have an opportunity to stand and save this republic over. And I believe that's what it's at stake and what this is all about.
So I've got to ask you the direct question. Have you registered your firearms?
I have not, nor will I.
And what message do you think that sends to others who are probably struggling with that, of whether they should have registered by that January 1st deadline?
Well, each and every person has to do what they feel compelled to do. It's very important to understand how this law works. I'm a farmer. Who got frustrated at taxes, and I got involved in government. And what I witnessed in 4 years, as I said earlier, really appalled me. I see a system that's working for the system and not the people. So one thing to really understand, think about, many people have received a speeding ticket. You get a speeding ticket, and that fine, that prosecution of that ticket must by law be handled in the county of which it was written. So it is with these laws. A lot of people, I've learned a lot through this process as well. So if you were to receive, say, a ticket for not registering your firearm, well, that has to be prosecuted in that county. Your state's attorney must prosecute that. So I'm going to suggest that 90% of the counties in the state of Illinois are going to, the people are to be protected over that. A lot of people are worried about, what if someone comes and raids my home? And well, that's doesn't really work like that. And as a matter of fact, it is a local county judge that has to sign off for a search warrant. So, there's been a lot of this fear out there and then that's what laws like this create. They create fear, they create panic, and then eventually complicity, and they just lead to one thing after another until our freedoms are gone. And that's what I believe is at stake with this.
Former State Senator Darren Bailey with us, and of course the message you sent was you're not going to comply with this. On the issue of a gun ban was a heated topic during the gubernatorial debates. Whenever you were running against Governor J.B. Pritzker, he of course won. But when I asked him a couple of weeks ago here in Springfield, why have the registry? He didn't really understand the question at first, and then he said, well, it's to know where these are in case there's some kind of other crime that may be committed with these firearms. Why do you think that gun control advocates want a firearms registry?
During my 4 years in Springfield, I saw public education just be depleted by people like J.B. Pritzker. They're taking history out of our classrooms. I can remember in my third and fourth and fifth and sixth grade classes learning the history, learning the ways of the world, learning how societies were directed and what happened to them when people got in power and began to strip freedoms from people. History tells us very concisely what this is all about. This is a road that is being traveled, that you just nip away at the freedoms, you nip away at the Constitution, and before long, we kind of like boiling a frog in water. Before long, we find ourselves in an irreversible situation. So.
Congress, Congress, of course, is your next aim for getting elected. Let's talk about a few things going on in Congress, especially when it comes to how it's impacting Illinois. We've got the ongoing migrant crisis that seems to be, going from buses to airplanes to trains, and even these migrants being dropped off in communities outside of Chicago. If you were in Congress, how would you get the border closed?
So, Greg, that's people are asking all the time, what would you do? Well, I think that's what I've had the blessing of being able to run for governor of the state of Illinois, because I stand up and I speak. And I think being that relentless noise to get truth out and give people hope, to know that someone is standing for them. And ever since 2016, this has been something that has been talked about, and President Trump was able to begin work and begin progress, and we saw the effects of that, and they were good. And then shortly after that, beginning in 2020, now we've seen this mess that we have on our hands. And my congressman down here in the 12th congressional district over the years has voted for amnesty many a times for millions of these people coming across our border illegally. My congressman in 2017, worked with Adam Kinzinger to infringe upon our Second Amendment rights, trying to ban bump stocks. So standing for the people, we need to be focusing on closing this border, protecting and now it's interesting that the Chicago, the very people that wanted sanctuary cities, wanted a sanctuary state, are now fearing, Brandon Johnson recently fearing for the future of our country because of this. And just recently, this weekend in Berwyn, Illinois, here's something else to consider. There was a 2-hour procession of semi-trucks flying Palestinian flags. And many of these trucks, there's video and there's pictures of them. Berwyn police, no one up there stopped them. 2 hours. Some people had to wait before they could get out on the highway with this procession going through. where did these people come from? Are these people have they been coming across our borders for the last several years? So I do believe that the situation with our border is of utmost importance. It is priority number one. And rising up, getting the people educated, getting the people informed, getting the people to show vote. That was our problem in the gubernatorial election when only 45% of the people showed up to vote. Getting the people to show up, to speak out, to run for office, to have a voice. That's how we protect a republic.
Well, I know you've got to bounce here in just a moment to head to another interview, but what message do you have for the likes of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who seems to indicate that the chaos is because of the governor of Texas sending these migrants and saying that they need more resources from the Biden administration to deal with these migrants? What's your message to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and others?
Well, Greg, my message is to the people. We've got to wake up. We've got to get involved. We've got to start paying attention to this. There's no need sending a message to Brandon Johnson or J.B. Pritzker because they don't care. They have one thing on their mind and one thing only. That is power. That is control. Go talk to any Chicago police officer and you'll find that out immediately. Talk to most residents, and it's interesting to see what the change that really has taken place in the last year since Brandon Johnson was elected. We warned people that this was only going to get worse. We thought Lori Lightfoot it couldn't get any worse, but you engage the Illinois Education Association that is, unfortunately, their leadership has become very woke, ideology driven. And so my message is to the people, you're going to have to get involved. You're going to have to start showing up, getting educated, understanding these judges that we're voting for, understanding these mayors, these governors, these presidents, understanding what they truly, really stand for. And we're going to have to stop this nonsense. Mayor Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker are 100% responsible for all of this nonsense that's taking place in Illinois. They have it, they got it, and they were warned. So the people of Illinois, please get involved, get registered, show up to vote, get yourself educated, and we can save this, but time is running out.
Former State Senator Darren Bailey running for Congress. Greatly appreciate you taking the time with us this morning. Happy New Year to you and yours, and we'll definitely be talking again in the near future.
Happy New Year. God bless you. Thanks a lot.
It is Bishop on Air with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and really anywhere that you can find me. So appreciate former state senator joining us. And again, you can see his social media channels where he posted this video of him essentially saying that he is not going to comply with the state's firearm ban. Again, here's a clip of that video he shared on social media.
A lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to comply with JB's illegal gun registry. Well, friends, here's your answer.
So there it is. Former state senator Darren Bailey sharing his thoughts, especially here after the January 1st deadline has come and gone. Again, if you want to follow the program, you could do so on Facebook, on X, streaming live, also on YouTube with clips on YouTube. If you want to support the program, you can do so by checking out the store. Just search for Bishop on Air. All right, Bishop on Air. You can go to the .com as well and get all those links. So make it happen, all right? We'll do a brief little segment here on the latest in the gun ban litigation. That's coming up next.